Well, here I am back at the tree that had quite a calamity a few days ago. The original tree was Cushman, and then I top worked most of it to Sugarloaf. And it was doing great. It was so wonderful, lots of new-ish leaves. They were mature, but they were that nice color green when they get like nice and just so vibrant. And it looked so good. And I was also thinking of how much fruit that might make this next season. So we didn't trim it. Unfortunately, we had like more than 2 weeks of sustained very high winds, like sustained 22-mile-per-hour winds. And eventually, like I think it was one day before the high winds stopped, I discovered that 2 branches had been very affected by that particular wind situation. They were both coming out of this one shoot here, and the one on this west side of the tree, it looks like it's not hanging on by much more than a thread. It's really not getting any nourishment from the tree at all, except for, well, let's see. Yeah, like this branch is doing all right, and this other one, but further down the line, they all look pretty distressed. This other side, these leaves look really pretty darn good. And so I think that they're getting a significant amount of resources from this remaining little thing. It's about possibly a half an inch wide of that particular part of the tree. And so anyway, I'm thinking that, of course, this is never going to stand upright and be the tree again, but it might be possible to harvest scions from this side of the tree disaster. So that's what I'm going to do. I always like to have experiments like this. Can you actually recover some scions from this and then be successful in grafting? So I'm just going to prep some scions on all of these areas that look like they're still being nourished by the tree, and we'll check back in a few weeks and see if they look like they're scions that are ready to graft. I'm just taking the very tips, this one, look at that. We have a lot of buds that are forming already here. It's sort of, will be interesting to see if it has enough sap in these branches or branchlets and tips of branches to actually make a successful graft. I don't use really flexible stuff with scions, so I'll cut back to mature wood. And prep scions are just so much better than going out to a tree and taking off random branches to graft. A lot more success. Yeah, these all seem like they're still pretty darn healthy. I don't see any evidence of wilt or change of color. This this color is not from the lack of water. It's just this particular branch, this part of the branch has got a little sort of modeling or something on it. So, let's see, I'll do one more. This is just lovely. It's all part of this coming off of the same branch, but my goodness, this is looking so healthy. I'm hoping that works out. I leave a little half leaf on because a lot of times it seems that I drop a scion and on the ground, it's so much easier to see when it has that. Yeah, that's pretty rigid also. Might as well try that one. And that's probably enough, because it's one thing to have a nice healthy scion, but it's also nice to have good weather to graft in. And while it's going to be warm for a little while, at least the forecasters think so, I don't want to be grafting when it starts getting cold, because then it just sort of decreases the success rate. So that's it for now. Prepped a few scions, and we'll come back and harvest them when they're ready. Well, here we are back at that Sugarloaf tree. It started off being Cushman, then I grafted Sugarloaf on it, and then we had the big storm and winds and everything, and two of the grafts just went each way. I mean, the one that was on this side of the tree had pretty much stripped completely from this particular branch that it was grafted onto. So I had to cut that back. It was obviously going to die anyway. But the good news is this side has enough resources to support all of this tree, this branch I should say. All of this, I mean, it's not normal for it to be laying on the ground, of course, but I do not see any of the leaves that are stressed. And as you might recall, I prepped some scions thinking maybe I can harvest some scions from this particular area and get some more Sugarloaf trees. And it looks like we have some scions that are ready to cut. So right here is one. Look at those nice buds on it. These were ones that I thought the end of the scion, or this part of the branch, was too young, so I cut back the young part, and there we have some very nice buds there. This one actually doesn't show any buds yet, so not quite ready to cut. I'd rather wait on that one too. It's looking pretty good. But as long as they're doing so well out here, I might as well wait till perfect. This one, I think I've got to cut, because that terminal bud is looking like it's ready to burst out pretty quickly. Or pretty soon, I should say. That one looks looking pretty good too. So I think that's it for right now, but I am encouraged, and I think I'm just going to keep prepping scions from this branch. Obviously, it can't spend its life down on the ground, but it certainly can supply a lot of Sugarloaf scions while it's still nice and healthy. So the scions that I harvested from the fallen branch, I wrapped them in buddy tape and grafted them onto 1-gallon trees. Here's one. I marked them with red and the label of the variety. So there's the Sugarloaf, looking gorgeous. Then we have another one here, again looking wonderful. This one over here, I was just reusing this rootstock, so this was another variety failed a while ago, and this one is going great. And then we have one more here, and again, another successful graft. So that's pretty fun to get 4 takes out of 4 scions that were harvested from a fallen branch.